Welcome Pisces and Pisces cross watchers to your singles and new love read. So we're going to get where you are, where you're headed, and then what you need to know. And then from this other deck, we're going to get a card for your next love interest, good or bad, but just the next person that's interested in you romantically for Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, and that will be timestamped in the description box below. So welcome to Infinity Tarot. I'm happy to have you here. Whoops. So we have the King of Cups and Seven of Swords. And then we have the Page of Wands and the Everything is Fine, but it's actually the Ten of Swords. Again, because we have it at the bottom of the deck here. So Pisces, hold on for a second. I'm kind of seeing here, I'm just realizing, sorry, I'm looking at the cards, not the camera. Pisces, I feel like you're just over here kind of minding your own business, doing your thing, doing some healing. I feel like you are doing some like work on letting go of some hurts, but I feel like it almost feels like you've been in that for a while, or you've been lost in it for a while. It just feels like, I feel like there's other things that you want to get going on. There's other things that you want to start here. And it's almost starting to feel like you're wasting time. Not that you actually are, it just feels that way. It's almost like you would like to be done with the healing process and just let it go and like, let's move on. But you also know that you have to do it, right? It's not like you're trying to, run away from it or kind of like shirk your responsibility. Sorry, I'm just getting some hand cream. But it does feel like, and I know you guys have had some really tough reads lately. It feels like to you that, not that it's an unfair amount of kind of hard times that you've had lately, but it does feel like it's almost that energy of like, you've gotten through it. Oh, hold on for a second. It's like, yeah, you got through it, but it feels like almost like at what cost? You know what I mean? It really seemed to, it's almost like maybe it made you kind of isolate yourself for a while so you could do the healing or something like that. It just feels like, yes, you're rebuilding, okay, and that's great, but why did you have to lose it in the first place? You know what I mean? So I feel like where you're headed is the Strength card, and I feel like there does seem to be quite a bit of sadness that is still present, but it's less potent, if that makes sense. It's like you seem to evolve from this star person into, you know what I mean? I feel like part of it's almost like if ever you've seen Venom, where like I think the actor and the actual like Venom thing, they kind of, when they pull away or they come together, it's like something's kind of being pulled apart. You know what I mean? I feel like you are really pulling away from this, saddened energy. It's still there, and it's almost like you kind of no longer expect it to move on. Not that you're not moving on, but it's like you just kind of accept that there's going to be a little bit of sadness there for a while. And I feel like it seems to make you incredibly understanding. It's almost like you seem to be moving into this energy that's actually quite powerful. But because you've been in that energy where you felt like there wasn't a whole lot that was under your control, almost feeling like powerless, because it feels like the blowback, no, the consequences of that level of sorrow, it doesn't feel like you carry the sorrow with you when you move forward, but the memory of it, it's like it keeps you almost like permanently humble. right? It's like you're not walking into a room thinking your shiz doesn't stink or anything like that. And it's not to say that you were before, but I feel like now it's almost like you seem to have immediate access to this really deep, deep compassion. I hope that made sense. I apologize if it didn't. Now, what you need to know, we actually got 4 cards. So we got the King of Cups, 7 of Swords. We do have the 10 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and then we have the Page of Swords and it says everything is fine, but it's, for whatever reason, this deck seems to have 2 of the 10 of Swords cards. So what you need to know, I think we're going to actually just do it like this so I can read the cards a little bit better. Okay, so this might be specific, I'm going to be honest. I feel like there is a lot that is going to kind of come into your awareness. I feel like you're going to understand it just feels like you seem to come to an understanding about why somebody left. It's almost like it may have been something that was really, I mean, obviously it didn't feel very good at the time because there was a lot of like not understanding why. And I feel like you actually start to see that it's almost like somebody's feelings changed for you because somebody was feeding them BS, right? And it's like, it doesn't feel like it's one of those things where, how do I say this? It's almost like if somebody kind of, hang on, I'm going to start that sentence again. If a relationship or a connection really didn't work out and it kind of felt like it would, I feel like you actually, and then you found out later that somebody was talking a bunch of nonsense about you, and that person, the person you were interested in, believed it. I feel like you actually end up seeing how and why that all happened. You know what I mean? It's like how this person could have fallen for whatever nonsense was being brought their way. And I feel like you actually see pretty clearly that this King of Cups, this person that I feel like you were involved with in whatever capacity, again, don't pay any attention to the, this person of cups, okay? I feel like it's almost like you see them as somebody that likes the chaos that this other person brings. You know what I mean? It's like if there's whoever it was that was kind of feeding them nonsense about you, it's almost like this person, this King of Cups, person of Cups, apologies, they may have met you and knew that they had to level up when they saw you and they didn't want to. And it's almost like it's a relief that somebody else has given them an excuse to not be with you. You know what I mean? And then we have the Page of Wands with the everything is fine. So I actually feel like there's going to be somebody that comes into your life that reminds you of a younger you or you in the past. And I feel like because you actually get to see yourself through other people's eyes, if you were kind of, it's almost like if you were wondering why, I hope you weren't wondering this, but if you were wondering why people would even want to get involved with you in the first place, and it's not a like, oh, woe is me sort of thing. I feel like when you were trying to figure all this stuff out, that may have come up. I feel like you're just about to see a lot of what is really real about yourself and how you relate to other people. I feel like you're going to see the missteps that you made, but I feel like you also are able to extend a lot of forgiveness to yourself for those missteps, because it's like, that the version of you that made that decision didn't have the information that you have now. So it's like it was impossible for that version of you to make a different choice. You know, it's like, I think it was Oprah that says, once you know better, do better. And I feel like you are. But when all of this kind of came about, it's like you really didn't know. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like you don't need me to say that because that's something that you see pretty clearly when you see yourself in this other person. And I feel like you'll actually start to see too why some people seem to be really compassionate and kind towards you when you may have initially, or not initially, but like it's almost like you might have brushed them off. It seemed disingenuous. And I feel like you actually seem to see pretty quickly that it's like even if they don't kind of stick around or whatever it is, or it's not kind of a long-term connection with them, I feel like you actually see that their intentions are really good. You know what it feels like? It feels like that energy of like, here's this King of Cups or Person of Cups, apologies, that seemed like they would be great, but turned out to be almost kind of like a weak character. It feels like it's almost like the things that they're doing kind of gross you out. Whereas there's this other person here that you may have kind of not placed a lot of importance on, or didn't kind of assume that much would be coming from them, but a lot does. You know what I mean? It's almost like who you think is going to be kind of the next step is not, because they're actually, I feel like they see too many changes with you, and it's almost like they'll kind of believe whatever is in front of them in order to not have to change. Whereas this other person, or this other kind of circumstance, it seems to, what's really interesting is I feel like you have a really loving attitude towards whoever this person is that reminds you of yourself when you were younger. I feel like you seem to be that epitome of, you know how they say like be who you needed when you were younger. I feel like that's the kind of guidance and love and support that you have with this person, right? It's like some of the lessons that you wish people had just let you learn, you let this person learn them, but you come in and kind of give them the guidance after, or kind of help them understand the situation a bit better, right? And I feel like in that, it's almost like the conversations that you have with this person, teaching them what you know, it helps you to realize more about yourself and how to handle things better in your own life, even though it's not, you're kind of talking about past situations with this one. So for those of you with your Pisces Sun in Pisces, apologies. Sun in Pisces. Okay, we have the Empress with the Death card at the bottom. So, this person seems to feel either they see you as out of reach, or they seem to feel like you're somehow, you're out of reach for this person, and not because they can't actually get to you, or they're having confidence issues or something like that. They see you, they want you, but I feel like it's a strange energy from the Empress. It's almost like they have resigned themselves to not being able to get what they want. Or at least it's almost like there's some things that are just kind of out of their reach. I feel like they're kind of hoping, you know what it feels like? It's the kind of energy of somebody that's hoping that something will happen, but doesn't expect anything to actually ever happen. You know what I mean? Can we get a clarifier on this, Empress, please? Actually, yeah, I think we're going to use the other deck. Sorry, one second, Pisces. For Pisces Sun, next love interest. I am kind of, Page of Swords. We have the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So I am kind of getting that this person is not one that would, it's almost like they, hold on for a second. Hold on, now I'm kind of getting, it feels like if ever you've seen Moulin Rouge, when the main guy that kind of runs the, I guess, brothel or whatever, he tells Satine, or Nicole Kidman's character, spoiler alert by the way, he tells her that she has to kind of hurt Ewan McGregor's character, can't remember his name, I apologize, to save him, to get him out of the thing. And I feel like somebody seems to come along to your person here, and it's almost like it's the same type of situation. I feel like somebody seems to kind of whisper in your person's ear about why this wouldn't work out. And this Empress seems to, they feel, it's almost like whatever reason is used, I feel like it's something that the Empress was dreading. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's a secret that they tried to cover up a long time ago, and they knew that it was going to come back and bite them in the butt, and now here it is. And it's almost like this Empress seems to see it as their just dessert, right? Or it's like the justice that they knew was coming for them. Of course they would lose something that they really wanted. So, for those of you with your moon in Pisces, Two of Cups. We have the Knight of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. So, hold on for a second. It does feel like there might be a little bit of almost like an age gap between the two of you. If there isn't an age gap, it's definitely feels like there's someone here that's a lot more mature than the other person. It does feel like there is a real possibility for kind of a new start with this one. I just want to, just give me a second here. It does feel pretty positive, okay? It feels like, I mean, of course the Two of Cups is a positive card, right? I feel like this is somebody that may not be well versed in relationships, but the core values are there, right? It's like loyalty, honesty. There may be some missteps that they make, but I feel like you'll see that it's out of almost like an innocent ignorance rather than, targeted. I don't know how to say this. Rather than them, kind of wanting to have their cake and eat it too, if that makes sense. It's almost like, to a certain extent, I mean, obviously we all have to do this, right? But I feel like you really do have to teach this one how to treat you. And I feel like that's because it's almost like maybe they've never had a serious relationship before, or they haven't been in a relationship in a long time, or it's like, or maybe their past relationships were, hold on for a sec. It's almost like they seem to be very sheltered. And I do feel that obviously they have some pretty real feelings for you here. And they do seem to be, it does feel like they're quite committed to you. I feel like this is the kind of person that it's like they may initially come across as someone that may not be strong enough to stand up for you, but they'll surprise you, Hold on for a second. It does feel, and I don't want to put a lot of pressure on the relationship, which is why I'm kind of hesitating to say this, okay? It does feel like it's almost like the two of you would be in your own little world when you're together. I don't want to say this because I don't want to put pressure on it. It does kind of feel like it feels like kind of a blessing to the both of you, right? Almost like it's protected. It kind of feels like the relationship, or their kind of relationship where it's like other people could be talking to both of you, but once the two of you lock eyes, it's like the whole rest of the world seems to disappear. It feels like it's something that's almost might start off like a little bit shy, a little bit demure. Feels like it's something that is, it feels to you, okay, that it feels like it's safe. It's a safe thing to grow in. I'm not so sure this person has had as many heartbreaks as you have. So it's almost like there may be some things about your relationship history that they don't understand. Not that they're judging them, but that they really may not be able to conceptualize some of the things that you've had to experience. And I feel like it doesn't seem to make you feel alone. It actually seems to help you let it go. It's almost like it just feels like there are certain things that you really feel like you don't have to care about anymore. Or let me rephrase that. Those heartbreaks in the past, there's something about this person's innocence that seems to, it almost kind of rubs off on you, you know? So for those of you with, excuse me, with a Pisces rising, we have the Page of Cups reversed. The Seven of Wands. Okay. I'm just going to put that to the side. Hold on. Okay, so this might be really specific. I feel like this is the kind of person that's going to go talk a big game to everybody else about how they're going to get you, and they're going to be with you, and they're the only person for you, and blah blah blah. But it doesn't feel like they actually do anything about it. I feel like they seem to continually allow other things to be excuses to not do anything, if that makes sense. And I feel like it's almost like this person seems to want the accolades of being with you without actually having to give you anything. It's like they seem to want to feel like, oh yeah, Pisces is so obsessed with me, when in actuality, number one, you're not, and number two, I feel like this person, it does feel pretty non-committal. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it's the kind of person that wants to come in and be like, I can tame Pisces, and they may be telling everybody that, but the actual connection between the two of you, it's not like that. It's the kind of person that would act very kind and considerate when it's just the two of you, but it's like when they're around other people, they're so worried about impressing everybody that they would kind of like make faces behind your back, or if you went to the bathroom, they'd kind of like roll their eyes and go in. It's like, and then they would come and try to convince you to leave, and then you finally would agree to leave, and they'd go back to the table and be like, oh, Pisces is just being emotional again, I gotta take them home. You know what I mean? Like they seem to twist. It's like they do genuinely want you, but in order to impress other people, they really distort what's actually going on between the two of you. So for those of you with your moon in Pisces, Three of Cups with the Eight of Swords. So I'm going to be honest, for me as a reader, the Three of Cups usually means there's, you know, too many people involved. Excuse me. What I'm actually getting here, I feel like people are plotting, not against you, but it's almost like, I feel like there's some people here that are saying to themselves, like, you know what? That's it. We're going to set Pisces up, and there's nothing they can do. Like they kind of, it's almost like they're coming up with this ploy to kind of, it may not be the actual situation, okay, but it's like they're going to, let's say they're planning a birthday party for somebody, and everyone is going to bring like a single friend that they think that you might be interested in. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like from like the reason they're doing it, I mean, obviously it's because they want you to be happy. It just feels like, not that it's controlling necessarily. It just feels like there's something here that doesn't feel right with something. I can't quite figure it out. It feels like there's one person here that is kind of orchestrating whatever this is, and the other people are going along with it, but they know that they really shouldn't. There's something about it that feels wrong to them. It just feels like they might kind of be followers to this other person that seems to be driving it forward. I feel like somebody here is one of those kind of know-it-alls. I know what people need better than they do. And unfortunately, they do have a couple of, I'm not saying this to be diminutive, okay, but it's like they do have kind of some minions here that are willing to follow them. As it's like these people are willing to follow this other person that's kind of a know-it-all. It's almost like to keep themselves insulated from said know-it-all. You know what I mean? It's like it's easy to duck and dodge what this know-it-all is doing if you know what they're doing. So I feel like that's why those people kind of stay close to this one. That doesn't really tell us about the next love interest, though. So what does Pisces need to know? I'm just making sure that my deck is not reversed, and it's not. So we have the Four of Swords reversed and the Queen of Wands reversed. Okay, so I feel like whoever this person is, this one here is kind of the one that I was seeing as the know-it-all. I feel like that person, it's like they may have this notion of doing this for you because like their heart's in the right place, okay? They really do want you to be happy, but it's like it's poorly organized, nobody shows up. It's almost like not only does no one show up, the food's not cooked all the way, the dishes are all dirty, there's no clean cups. Like it just feels like it's a total, it's like their heart is in the right place, but it's almost like the idea is there, but the planning is not. It's almost like this person may be somebody, maybe to a certain extent, they're used to having things handed to them. They're used to things being done for them. So when they want to do something, it's like they say like, hey, I've got this idea. And then they kind of, it's almost like they say the idea and then they expect these two to kind of just do it. And I feel like those two, they seem to be paralyzed with a bit of fear about making this one angry. And what's really interesting is I feel that this person wouldn't actually be angry. I feel actually more that they would just kind of be like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. You know what I mean? It's like, it might seem to the people that are following them that they've got a lot riding on this here, but I don't actually think that they do. It's almost like it might be said while they're, you know, a little bit inebriated. It just feels like something, this person has a really bad idea and hold on. Not bad that they're trying to hurt you or anything. It just feels like I just feel like this person seems to think they know better than you do about what you want in your life. And I feel like it's what's interesting is that it actually ends up being, it feels like that person, that kind of know-it-all. I feel like there's somebody that you end up feeling like you can trust because they don't BS you. You know what I mean? It's like if you went up to them and asked them like, what is this? What did you do? They'd be like, okay, well, this is what I did and this is why. But I feel like these other two would just be like, I don't know, go talk to, you know, green dress person over. You know what I mean? Like they just seem to be, it's like maybe this person, you know, thinks that they know things more than other people do. But I feel like if they feel like the kind of person that if you really want to know the truth, go ask them. because they're going to tell you. And it's almost like it's almost like it's a knee-jerk reaction the way that they tell the truth. They almost don't even consider whether or not something's going to hurt you. And I feel like they do that because it's like they put so much value on the truth, which like no one's complaining, right? They put so much value on the truth that and I feel like they struggle to find someone that is as willing to be truthful with them as they are with other people. So it's almost like they feel that being really honest and being willing to tell people things that they don't want to hear, I feel like it does make this person feel that they are isolated, that other people think that this person is judging them. But it's like they will deal with all of that because honesty is the best policy. I also feel like this person is undeterred. It's like if somebody kind of got in their face and was doing the thing and whatever, it's like this person actually seems to have a lot more stamina, a lot more staying power than a lot of people think they do. I almost feel like people might underestimate this person. But it's like what's really refreshing is like because everybody knows that this one tells the truth, it's like if people try to pin something on them or do this or do that, it's like everybody knows damn well, sorry, should have warned you, that you're going to get the truth with this one way or not one way or another, but like they're going to tell you the truth. So if people try to come in and be like, oh, green dress person said this or green dress person said that, you could go up to the green dress person and they'd be like, well, yeah, I said that, but I never said that. It's almost like, well, I said this that could have been misconstrued as that message, but that wasn't what I meant. And it seems like this person that may have a couple of prickly edges actually seems to be one of the few people you end up feeling that you can trust. So I think I'll leave it there, Pisces. I did try to pull a couple more cards to see about the other person that's coming in, but unfortunately it just keeps bringing me back to this green dress person. So if the reading resonated, I hope that it was helpful and brought you some clarity. For those of you that are new here, welcome. I upload mini weekly love reads on Sundays and then usually, excuse me, some longer reads that come out on Thursdays. If you would like a private reading with me, those will be opening up soon. So please shoot me an email. My email's in the description box and I will put you on the wait list. Thank you to those that have already reached out. I will be just shooting you back an email to let you know where on the list you are, and we will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.